us today. My name is Dwayne Wilson. I'm from Hope for the Forgotten Outreach. We are a boots on the ground ministry committed to serving the hurting and overlooked individuals in our societies, the ones that have been turned down by every other source of help. When all doors have closed, what we do is we step in with the hope and love of Jesus to meet urgent, life-altering needs, providing what families desperately need but cannot provide for themselves. We work with local nonprofits in the communities that we serve. Currently, we're serving in Midland, Saginaw, and Bay counties. We assist with small home repairs, appliances, sometimes a few other needs, just depending on their situation. When we receive the referrals from these nonprofits, they would love to be able to help the families that they're sending us. But because of federal and state funding restrictions, they can't. So they reach out to us, and then what we do is we reach out to them. And when we get to them, they've just like all hope, they've given up all hope, okay? They've, every door's been shut. And when we get to them, they think we're just gonna be another no. So what we do, step one, is we just love them right where they're at, okay? And then we assess their situation. We look at what's going on. We prioritize what is the greatest need, and then we work down from there depending on what funding that we have to work with. Now the average family, it ranges in between 500 all the way up to 5,000, sometimes a little bit more, depending on what they have going on in their situation. When we get there, a lot of times there's way more going on than what we was told about, okay? What we have now is we have prepared for you is a slideshow of some of the families that we've helped in 2025, okay? In the first slide, we got a referral about an elderly lady that was in need of a stove. And we was able to provide a stove for her. On the next slide, we got a referral about a single mom that her refrigerator and her stove was coming through her floor. So we went out there to assess the situation, and sure enough, you can see from the photo that the floor was rotted out. So in the next picture, you can see where we were replacing it. We had to add some supports in there, okay? And then we put new flooring down, and then new covering, okay? And the next picture, that's mom and her two kids with their new floor, and the refrigerator and stoves not coming through anymore. They were very excited, okay? So when we get these calls, when we get out there, there's a lot, usually there's a lot more going on than what we're told. So the other thing when we was there is we noticed this next slide, you look at the bottom of her door. When we was coming in and out with the supplies and the materials, that bottom of the door was just flapping. I mean, literally, you could just tap it with your finger and it would just wave, okay? She said that they put stuff in it when they go to bed at night, but when the kids are in school and she's gone to work during the day, what happens is every once in a while, they'll find a stray cat inside the house because you could just push that open and it could get in. So that wasn't something we was expecting, but when we went and we replaced that, you can see we put a brand new door in there for her, okay? The other thing that come to find out what was there, the lady's furnace didn't work, and it was the fall, winter's coming, and she didn't know what to do, and she's like, so we had a furnace company go out there, and he had to put a new blower motor in her furnace. The other thing when we was there, we noticed that she had plastic over her windows, a couple of them. And we're looking, and she's like, yeah, a couple of the windows got broken, and she didn't have no way to replace them. So what we did is we replaced 2 of them window panes for her, okay? The next slide is we got a referral about an elderly lady that her pump wasn't working, her well pump. So we went out there and come to find out her bladder tank was what was really wrong. The well pump still worked, so we replaced the bladder tank. We was also told that she was in need of a hot water heater, okay? So we was able to provide her with a new hot water heater. Another situation at her house that we come across is her furnace didn't work. So we got her furnace repaired for her as well, okay? This next one, we got a referral about a disabled man that his roof was leaking, okay? So I want to explain to you guys, you know, when we get calls from other places and they're unable to help, well, if some of the restrictions are, if somebody doesn't have insurance on their home or wherever, or their mobile home what they're living in, they draw the line there and they can't help them, okay? So we get two scenarios, all right, when it comes to this. We've never had anything different. Scenario number one, like if you're looking in this picture right now, okay, that the insurance company will not insure that house. He said the insurance company won't insure it, Dwayne, because I have to get this fixed and then they will insure it, okay? So you can see this gentleman was dealing with a water leaking in his kitchen for quite some time. You see all them little buckets there, okay? They would catch the rainwater when it came in, and you notice the big buckets, they have a sub pump in them, okay? And he would dump all the little buckets in the big bucket, and it would pump the water out of the house, okay? Now, you seen that hole at the beginning. Now, when they got up in there, there was a lot rotted away, and you don't find out until you get in there, okay? So you can see the guys in there once they start. Now look at that. So there was 2x4s. They had to reframe part of it and resheet it and then reshingle it, okay? And that's the after picture. And that's the disabled man that we was able to help there, okay? The next family, we got a referral from this man, another disabled person, and he was in need of a furnace, okay? So not just the furnace. If you look, the house doesn't have any insulation and drywall. He is in need of all that, okay? But we got called out there because he needed a furnace and he needed ductwork, all right? So we was able to partner with another organization, actually a few of them, and get him a new furnace and new ductwork, okay? Now here's another situation when we was in there. This was all that we was called out there for. There's him with his new furnace and his new ductwork. But we asked him, we said, sir, we noticed that you're in an electric chair, but we don't, where's the ramp? How do you get into your house? And he says, well, I have to get friends, family to help lift me in my chair and get me down these steps so I can get in and out of the house. So immediately we got concerned and we was thinking, boy, what if he had a house fire right now? What would he do? He'd be stuck out on that porch and he could burn to death. So all of a sudden, the furnace situation started coming under less of a priority than the ramp. So immediately what we did is we put feelers out there and we got donations to get a ramp, okay? So if you look, there's him starting to put the ramp in, and there's him with his new ramp. He was just so excited. He was not expecting this, but this was just another scenario of when we come into some people's houses, you know, they have more going on than what we're called out there for. And this is why we assess the situation, and this was a safety thing for him. So this is, we was able to get the ramp. Now here's the last thing we did for him. I know this seems kind of strange. He's sitting next to a refrigerator, but all he had for a refrigerator in this house was just a little refrigerator like you'd find in a motel room or what have you. And then we had an individual that donated that refrigerator for him. Now, if you look at that, that's more of an apartment-sized refrigerator, but it's just him. and it works perfect for him. And he was just so happy to receive that. Okay, and then that's the end of our slideshow. Okay, in closing, what we're in need of is we're in need of local businesses, foundations, churches, individuals to partner with us so we can bring hope to bring hope to society's forgotten families. Okay. Now, we also work with the ALICE population as well. Okay, and for those of you that don't know about the ALICE population, I mean, basically, they're families out there. They're hardworking families. They go to work every day, just like you and I, but you know they're making minimum wage or what have you, and then they're still struggling at the end of the month to make needs met. Okay, so when we get referrals about those in the ALICE population, we partner with the local nonprofits that refer to us, and then we combine their resources along with our resources to get them the help that they need. So we help both, but we specialize in helping those that have been turned away from every other source of help, you know, because of the funding restrictions. We haven't applied for any federal or state funding because of that, because we want to be able to help these families that the other ones aren't able to. The one thing that I just want to point out real quick here is that on the insurance, when I was telling you that they can't, you know, some of them, they can't get insurance on their house because of the repairs that are needed, we get two scenarios. Scenario number one is they can't get insurance on their house because it's got to be repaired before they get insurance. Scenario number two is when they'll tell us, they'll say, Dwayne, we run into this. And they ask me, what would you do at the end of the month if you only have enough money to pay your power bill or pay your homeowner's insurance policy? What would you do? And you know what? I would do the exact same thing that they do, is I would pay my electric bill before I would pay my homeowner's insurance. As much as I wouldn't want to not pay it, I would do the same thing that they're doing if I was in their shoes. Now, you can check us out on our webpage at Hope for the Forgotten Outreach, or you're welcome to follow us on our public Facebook page at Hope for the Forgotten Outreach, and that'll be on the screen as well. And we thank you for joining us today, and have a good day.